While millions of poor Americans get paid crumbs to do important work that is essential to the infrastructure of civilized society, Kevin Samuels got wealthy off of being an image consultant. Yes, a fucking image consultant. So because of his status, people of both genders give his ignorant ass more attention than he deserves, by connecting to his internet streams and asking for his advice. If you are an incel, please don't seek out advice from Kevin Samuels or someone who is similar to him. In this video, I'm going to show you why I'm telling you that. But first, let's start by looking at what his opinion of fairness is so that we can get a better idea of what type of person he is.
I don't have to care about fair either.
No. Men don't care about fair, or else we wouldn't conquer other people. You're of European descent. Looks like you're from your people are from the Caucasus Mountains, European descent. So
I am very white, yes.
That's fine. And some of them, and there's a lot, and between a lot of warring tribes, Germania, the Franks, if we cared about fairness, we would just let everybody stay on their land. Vikings wouldn't have raided and pillaged. England would have stayed on its island. Scotland would have been all right. Ireland would have been all right. Matter of fact, Hong Kong wouldn't have been a British protectorate for how many years? Oh, until the last, 30 or 40? Men don't care about fair. We conquer. It's winners and losers.
Straight up.
If men didn't care about fairness, then the 1964 Civil Rights Act would not exist. If men didn't care about fairness, then the 1968 Civil Rights Act would not exist. If men didn't care about fairness, then the 14th Amendment would not exist. If men didn't care about fairness, then the 15th Amendment would not exist. A much more sensible conclusion to come to is that, people selectively care about fairness. Which is why so many SJWs who speak out against bigotry, also perpetuate bigotry.
Fairness means you get an opportunity. Fairness doesn't mean you get an outcome.
Oh my God.
You get an interview, not guaranteed a job.
Wrong. You could perform well on a job interview, and still be turned down for the job that you were interviewed for. Therefore, a job offer is the opportunity. What you do with the job is the outcome.
No, you're not, but I work very, very hard to ensure that I keep it.
Well, if that's the case, you should. If that's the case,
right?
If that's the case, then if that's the case, you should be able to secure the things you want. So you should have no problem.
Obviously not. Not when men are out here believing like you don't have to be fair.
Well, those two things can't exist in the same place.
Women haven't even been part of human history. It's just men, and all we care about is conquering.
Well, no. You just said you work very hard, so you should get the outcomes. See, if hard work was all that required, then we would almost be guaranteed. Hard work gets you a ticket to the dance. It doesn't guarantee you the top spot. How many? Who lost the Super Bowl, guys?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Can you say they worked hard this year?
Very hard.
Number 2.
What a lousy example. If the Buccaneers did not cheat in order to win, then their victory was merit, not unfairness. If the NFL officials did not unjustly hinder the Chiefs, then the Buccaneers' win was merit, not unfairness. Getting a job because you are a pretty woman is not merit. Getting a job because you are a tall man is not merit. Getting a job because you are best friends with the hiring manager is not merit.
Men don't worry about fairness. We worry about winning. And to the victor go the spoils. Where in the world is it fair like you need it to be?
Is it fair for you here in America?
No, ma'am. I asked you where in the world is it fair? Like, I'm not complaining about it. I deal with it. I deal with the unfairness and overcome it because I'm a man and I can deal with it. I'm a feminist. I believe in feminism. Feminism is about choice.
No, you really are.
Excuse me, ma'am. Feminism in its true form is about choice.
I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, we don't have a choice right now with what's
No,
going
you
on.
have a choice. She just exercised one right now. It got too hot. She left.
Feminist, but shit shouldn't be fair.
See, It's about choice. If a woman wanted to be a housewife, she could do it. If she wanted to be a business person, she could do it. See, the choice was about all black people wanted was a choice, freedom, to have an equal shot, not equal outcomes.
No African Americans did not only want a choice. They wanted fairness and decent lives. You always have a choice. Our demographic had choices. They could have committed suicide, they could have waged all-out war on the government and white civilians. They would have been killed, but they would have died fighting. They could have fled America, and went to live in Africa. These were all choices that they could have made. But instead they chose to use diplomacy and demand to be treated fairly. And white liberals gave them that fair treatment. Which is why Kevin Samuels' black ass had the opportunities that he needed to become successful. Yet he claimed that men don't care about fairness. And this is the kind of guy that red pill men support and defend.
Men accept these things. You don't hear men complaining about fair. If Donovan and I were playing a game of football or video game, if he was kicking my fucking ass, I would be a punk to sit up and say, it's not fair. My controller's not working. The game is rigged. That's not fair. You're better. You know, I would have to just take my ass whooping, take my L's and get better. That's what men do.
That you guys.
If Kevin Samuels would compete against me in a video game, and his controller malfunctioned to the point where he could not make his character attack my character, then the defective controller was in fact a barrier to him achieving victory against me. I would not call Samuels a punk for pointing that out. Why? Because I have common sense and basic reasoning ability. That's why. If a person is disadvantaged in life, then the severity of that disadvantage will determine their probability of success. If a person fails at something and they give a logical explanation for why they were unable to succeed at that something, then that person's failure was not their fault. If you fail at something due to external factors, and a normie dismisses your explanations as being excuses, their reaction to your explanations was not indicative of you being a punk. Their reaction to your explanations was indicative of them being retarded. Hence the reason why a lot of incels refer to normies as being low IQ. Many of the people who benefit from unfairness try to downplay the relevance of fairness. They do this because if people were to collectively believe that fairness doesn't matter, then society wouldn't do anything to reduce unfairness. Thus the people who benefit from unfairness would continue to benefit from it. People like Samuels need unfairness in their favor in order for them to be successful in life. So they want to preserve the unfairness that they benefit from. That is punk behavior. But now that we know about the mentality that Kevin Samuels has, I'll get into the main point of this video.
Today's topic, Kevin Samuels. So we did a live stream with him recently, and there was some really great moments. A lot of people feel that Kevin Samuels really dislikes women, all right, and that he hates them. So I did some research, and I found a clip that I think you guys are going to enjoy.
And yet, hold on. He is harsh on women.
I don't believe that he hates women. He just profits off of the red pill men who do hate women.
You living an interesting life? I mean, you're 34 working in the warehouse. What are you doing that's interesting?
I mean, I like to work out.
Okay.
I mean, I like to go out, places and visit places and stuff.
Okay,
I don't.
What are you doing that's interesting?
See, I didn't have none of that when I was a kid, man. I didn't go to my proms and nothing like that.
And at 34 years old, that's your responsibility to address. It's nobody's concern but your own. No one cares what you did not have. That's your problem. That's it. I didn't have a father. That's my problem. Everybody got something.
Just because something is your problem, doesn't mean that it's your fault. And morally speaking, the people who are at fault should be responsible for the problems that they cause. That's why if I crash my car into someone else's car, my insurance will pay for the damages to their car, instead of the owner of the car paying for the damages to their car. If I wouldn't have insurance, then they could sue me. That's how fairness works. That's how a civilized society is supposed to operate. And why the fuck did Samuels mention that he didn't have a father growing up? Is that really supposed to mean something? If you are someone who is accepted in society, then growing up without a father is not something that can hinder your ascension in life. So Samuels brought up a problem that was not, nor could not, be a barrier for him. As someone who grew up without a father, I'm telling you that a fatherless past does not compare to being an incelibate social outcast for most of your life. So that was irrelevant information that he gave.
How tall are you?
I'm only 5'5". Just
What
turned
kind
it.
of shape are you in?
I'm overweight, working on it right now.
Okay. You got two struggles already. You can't be short and fat.
Yeah.
2 strikes.
That's good.
I was trying to keep my straight face during the interview. Nigga, I could not. You already got 2 struggles. Pick one.
2 strikes.
About how much do you make a year?
40,000.
And how old are you? Almost 40. So you're underemployed too.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So short, don't have to worry about that. But your weight and your money with your confidence.
What a great idea. No incel has ever tried working out, right? Is a muscular male body something that most women consider to be physically attractive? Yes. But will a muscular physique outweigh shitty genetic traits? No. Considering the fact that there are incels who have failed to gym max their way out of inceldom, a much more plausible conclusion to reach is that having a fit body only matters if your face, body shape, and height are what women consider to be attractive. If those attributes are poor, your chances of getting sex from women are going to be poor, regardless of how muscular you are. Unless of course you are.
Oh.
Why would the female of the species want to take your genes and put them into the next generation?
Did you notice how the guy that Kevin Samuels was talking to did not say that he wanted to fuck with beautiful women? He didn't describe having look standards or income standards, did he? The guy did not express that he wanted to date and mate with women who are out of his league. So why did he deserve to be demeaned?
Correct.
Short, I mean, you're fat, underemployed, and unambitious.
Okay, the reason why I'm laughing is not because I want to clown the dude. It's because of the way he says it and how blunt it is. It's true, though. He's not lying about what he's saying. You know, a lot of people put themselves in disadvantaged positions, either because life has already dealt them a bad hand, i.e. like being 5'2" as a man or whatever, and then they don't do anything to compensate to help themselves. So, of course, life is going to be cruel to you in some degrees. And when he says it, it's just like, you're so not used to hearing that on open platforms that I could not help myself when I was dying.
What I believe he said is not what he thinks of the person. He doesn't know the person. But it's actually what is happening out there. Like when he says, what makes a woman want to take your genes and put it out there? At the end of the day, it's not necessarily what he thinks, but that's what the dating world is. That's the whole purpose of the dating world. Yeah, but you don't know if that person is nice or whatever. I understand that. I get that. But other people, that's me, I'm attracted by the smarts. Smarts is not something that you see from afar. You have to sit down to have a conversation. And what attracted you to sit down was the looks, was what they saw. And that's not something that's necessarily going to be appealing to a certain degree.
Ladies, you guys are like employers that are really sought after. All right, men are the employees. Now, if man doesn't have the criterias or the credentials, the college level education, you're not even going to give him an interview. There's a lot of people who are fit for jobs, but don't have the paperwork behind it. But you're never going to know. So you saying they're like, no, we want the most competent people. Well, based off the criteria that you have, a lot of those people are going to get filtered out. So that's what it comes down to. When you are a ugly, unattractive, short, whatever it might be, if you don't have anything else to try to elevate your resume, you're not even going to get through the door.
Should males like that in the animal world be able to mate?
No.
Should the unattractive females in the animal world be able to mate? And is Samuel stupid enough to believe that the brains of humans are no different than the brains of wild animals? How about this? All civilized humans deserve to date and have sex with their LMS matches.
At 38 years old, is this where you thought you'd be in life?
No.
And what are you doing about it?
Working out.
No, you ain't working out your fat.
That's true.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
See, this is why I have these conversations, because a lot of this stuff gets lost in the sauce when women start talking about women and these red pills and all this other kind of stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with women. See, at 5'5", you should be in shape for you. You have zero confidence, and you're a quitter. You're underperforming, and you lack ambition. You need to go enroll in martial arts or boxing somewhere and let somebody knock the shit out of you, because you don't know who you are.
People really translate that as, oh, you need to get beat. Is that what you're wishing him to? No, but there's something that you have to understand about martial arts and taking a punch that teaches you about life, about not quitting no matter what happened. No matter about how you get rocked, you get back on. That's what he meant.
It's about adversity. You live a dull life and you lack ambition. You know, one thing good about martial arts, like if you're a beginner, you go in there and you spar or you do whatever you train, you get humbled all the time. You're getting constantly submitted. You're constantly getting knocked on the floor. Like at safety, you're constantly learning new techniques. So it's good. It's good for building character. And I think that's what he's saying about this.
Yeah, but it's funny the way.
The way he says is the delivery is funny.
Typical cliche advice given by some retarded red pill pricks who are out of touch with reality. If you are a man in a gynocentric society, then your looks heavily impact your employment prospects. For better or worse, social connections impact the employment prospects of both men and women. Because employers practice nepotism, and unfortunately they are usually able to do so without the risk of consequences. Some people have unfair advantages because of societal prejudices. Millions of dysfunctional Americans prosper. Therefore, income level is not intrinsically connected to ambition, discipline, or work ethic. Not unless red pill shitbags can find and present conclusive scientific evidence to the contrary. A person's physical appearance affects how people perceive a person's behavior. So if a man is of poor genetic quality, then his confident behavior will not be perceived in a positive way. Also, a person cannot force anyone to like them, no matter how much confidence and ambition they have. If a person is disliked due to superficial prejudices, then their behavioral changes will not gain the acceptance of other people. Again, you cannot force anyone to like you. It's impossible to make someone accept you. So if you know that something is impossible, then why would you keep trying to do it? This is basic logic shit. If you strongly desire to win a shooting championship, but you are blind, then you will not be able to win a shooting championship. So if it is impossible for you to obtain what you want, then why would you keep trying to obtain it? That's a waste of time, a waste of physical energy, and a waste of mental energy. Also, in many cases, it's a waste of money.
I kind of disagree with some of the things you're saying.
Okay. How old are you?
20.
Okay. Why does your opinion matter?
Everyone's opinion is valid.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. 20-year-old guy who's doesn't know.
I was dying. I was dying. He's right. You know, when you're 19 and you got these super strong opinions, it's like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But
the
also,
experiences back it up.
Exactly. You know, it was just funny the way he said it.
No. That's another bullshit notion. Being significantly older than another person does not automatically mean that you understand more about everything than that person does. For the most part, knowledge and awareness is not about how many life experiences you've had. Knowledge and awareness is about what kind of life experiences you've had. For example, a 60-year-old who has lived in a primitive tribe his whole life will not understand as much about electronic technology as an 11-year-old who is growing up in a first-world industrialized environment. For another example, if a 13-year-old child soldier is fighting in a civil war, I can't tell him that I know more about what it's like to fight in a civil war than he does, even though I'm way older than him. Do you know why? Because I've never been a soldier and I've never fought in a civil war. So how the fuck could I have the nerve to tell the 13-year-old boy that his opinion about fighting a civil war is not more valid than my opinion? That would be very silly for me to do that. And you have plenty of people who are a lot older than me and have been privileged their whole lives. So what the fuck do they know? They don't know anywhere near as much about being in negative circumstances as I do. Knowledge and awareness is not about how long you've lived. Knowledge and awareness is about what type of life you've lived.
So when you say he hates women, based off of what? Limited information, clips that were taken off of his 2-hour live stream, and you watched a 2-minute clip? So just be mindful of that. If you're going to look at this clip and tell me he's not being as savage to these men as he is to the ladies, I would question that. So that's what I'm making this video for. Like I said, man, I think a lot of us could use some blunt honesty. But if you ain't ready for it, don't ask for it. Some of y'all are asking for you're not ready for it and then crying victim afterwards. No. So that's all I'm going to say. Anything else you want to add? No. All right. Tell us what you guys think in the comments below.
So, here's the thing. You have men who internalize this kind of rhetoric that people like Kevin Samuels put out there. You have incels who claim that they aren't worthy of having a girlfriend or a sex life. But that notion is nonsense. As the CDC website shows, male and female obesity rates are very similar. Yet according to women in their Sims, women put way more effort into being fuckable than men do. And if this obese male caller is willing to date African American women, then it should be even easier for him to find matches. Apparently, average-sized men and tall men have higher fertility than short men. But guess what? Shorter mothers have shorter pregnancies, smaller babies, and higher risk for a preterm birth. Research has found that a mother's height directly influences her risk for preterm birth. So why the fuck should average height men and tall men reproduce with short women? Short women should only be accepted by short men. Yet a lot of average height men and tall men are literally dating down. Despite being held to lower standards in society, despite how much the government spends on women's education, women have a higher poverty rate than men in every age category. Most of the underemployed food service workers in America are women. The age of the average female fast food worker is estimated to be 34 years old. No, your eyes and ears are not deceiving you. 34 years old. Not 18 years old. Not 19 years old. 30-fucking-4. For every ugly low-value man, there's an ugly low-value woman. So why should unattractive men feel like we don't deserve to have girlfriends and sex lives? One of the things that people tell incel men is that there's somebody for everybody. Technically, they are right. There's women who are ugly. There's women who are broke. There's women who have social anxiety disorder. There's some women who have all three of those attributes. There is somebody for everybody. But even though unattractive women are for us, they do not choose us. Because most average men and attractive men choose to date down. That gives unattractive women an option that unattractive men don't have. That gives unattractive women the option to be hypergamous. That is a product of cultural deterioration. It is not a product of unworthiness on the part of incels. So I just want to say this, never think that you are undeserving of a girlfriend. And fellow incels, remember this. You can't stop the disparagement of an elderly condescending faggot and his red pill dick riders. But you can stop internalizing that disparagement.